So, Apple just dropped the iPhone 17 Pro, and the big question on everyone's mind is, is this thing a real game changer, or is it just another small step up? We've dug through all the announcements, and right now, we're going to break down everything you actually need to know.
Apple's whole theme for the event was awe-dropping. I mean, that's a pretty big promise, right? So, did the iPhone 17 Pro actually deliver on that hype? Well, let's take a look at what they packed into this thing, from a crazy new chip to a storage option that might just change the game.
What's becoming super clear is that Apple isn't really making this phone for just anybody anymore. The iPhone 17 Pro and the Pro Max, these are aimed squarely at the pros, at the creators, people who really truly depend on their phone as a tool and need it to be the absolute best.
Okay, let's get into the good stuff. We're going to start with the absolute beast of a processor they packed inside this thing. Seriously, what makes this phone so incredibly fast?
So, at the very heart of the 17 Pro is its brand new A19 Pro chip. Now, it's built using a 2nm process. Look, all you really need to know about that is that smaller means it's way faster and a lot more power efficient, and that translates into this massive leap in performance, especially for the heavy-duty stuff, like all those on-device AI features we keep hearing about. But what do these numbers actually mean for you, day to day? Well, that 20% faster CPU, that just makes everything feel buttery smooth. But the real story here is that 25% jump in the neural engine. That's the brain behind the AI, which means things like live photo editing and instant language translation happen, well, instantly. But listen, all that power doesn't mean a thing if your phone cooks itself, right? That's why Apple put in a vapor chamber cooling system. This is stuff you'd normally find in a high-end gaming PC. It's there to keep things cool when you're doing intense tasks like editing 8K video. They've also bumped the RAM up to 8 gigs for better multitasking and thrown in Wi-Fi 7 to make sure your connection is ready for the future.
And this is a huge deal. For the first time ever, you can get an iPhone with 2 terabytes of storage. That is absolutely a game changer for pro videographers. I mean, you can shoot for hours and hours in high-res, ProRes video and never even think about running out of space. It's only on the Pro Max, which really drives home that this is a pro device.
All that processing power is awesome, but where you're really going to see it shine is in the camera system. Apple has made some absolutely massive leaps here, and honestly, this thing could replace a dedicated camera for a lot of creators out there.
The whole camera setup got a major overhaul. Both the main camera and the ultra-wide now have 48-megapixel sensors. So what does that mean? It means your photos are going to have insane detail so you can crop way in without losing quality. It also makes a huge difference in low light. It just pulls in more light for much cleaner shots. And that telephoto lens, it now has a true 5x optical zoom for getting up close. Okay, for all you videographers out there, this might be the single biggest reason to upgrade. Cinematic mode. The feature that gives you that beautiful, blurry background, it now shoots in stunning 8K. This gives filmmakers so much flexibility to reframe and crop their shots later, all while that smart autofocus just keeps on tracking. It's incredible.
Okay, let's move on from the guts of the phone for a sec. Apple has also been busy refining the actual design, the look and feel, and they've really focused on making it tougher and feel even more premium.
The first thing you're going to notice when you pick this phone up is the new titanium frame. It makes it feel surprisingly light, but also way more durable. And the screen is now protected by something called Ceramic Shield 2.0, which Apple claims is 50% tougher if you drop it. They also managed to slim down the bezels so you get more screen in a phone that still feels amazing to hold.
And of course, it wouldn't be a new iPhone without some new colors, right? This year's lineup is all about complementing that slick brushed titanium finish. You've got this warm, sandy desert titanium and a really deep, rich ocean blue. The whole palette just looks incredibly sophisticated.
All right, let's get down to brass tacks. The big questions. How much is this going to cost me, and when can I actually get one?
Well, Apple is moving fast. The phone was announced on September 9th. Pre-orders are going to open up this Friday, September 12th, and just a week after that, on September 19th, it'll be in stores and shipping out everywhere. So you don't have to wait long.
So let's talk about the price. The iPhone 17 Pro, the base model, is starting at $999, which is actually the same price as last year's. The big news, though, is with the Pro Max. That new 2TB model? Yeah, that's going to run you just under $2,000. It really shows you who Apple thinks that phone is for.
Now, if that price tag makes your eyes water a little, don't worry. There are definitely ways to bring that cost down.
For starters, trade-in programs, both from Apple and the carriers, can knock off up to $600. And you should absolutely keep an eye out for those carrier deals. They often have buy one, get one offers or free upgrades if you're starting a new line.
So that brings us to the ultimate question, doesn't it? How does the 17 Pro really stack up against the older models? And more importantly, is this the right upgrade for you? When you lay it all out side by side, you can see that steady march of progress and performance. But the things that really stand out this year? The big jump in battery life, all the way up to 30 hours of talk time. And of course, that massive 2 TB storage option on the Pro Max. Those are the real differentiators.
So here's the bottom line. The biggest steps forward here, we're talking about that advanced cooling system, the massive storage. They're all clearly designed for a very specific person. The professional, the creator, the power user who pushes their phone harder than anybody else.
Ultimately, it leaves us with one question. Is this a true leap forward, or is it just another really good upgrade? For the professional user, I think it's an absolute game changer. For everyone else, it's an incredible phone that's been made even better. In the end, the choice really comes down to one thing. How are you going to use it? Thanks for tuning in to this explainer.